Hi, my name is Andy Kolar. I'm the president for the Connecticut chapter of the Percussive Art Society. I also teach at Sacred Heart University in Fairfield, Connecticut. I'm going to be going through the concert bass drum excerpt for CMEA auditions. So the first thing you want to make sure you pay attention to is your position behind the drum itself. Many times people stand here in front of the drum head, and this leads to a much more punchy sound because you end up playing down through the head a little bit more. So I like to stand behind the drum, which is going to allow my arm to have a much greater range of motion. The next thing to think about is the position of the music stand or trap table if you're going to use one. So I always want to make sure that my music stand is right in line with the conductor. That way I can look at the music stand, I can look at the conductor, and my eyes don't really have to move from this vantage point. Your trap table, if you're going to use one, you should make sure it is easily within reach from this position. So right now I can't reach the mallet, so I need to move mine a little bit closer so that from this position I can move back and forth to the trap table nice and easily. So the next thing to talk about is our mallet choice. So because this excerpt has some rolls in it, you should make sure that you are using two of the same mallet if at all possible. These mallets, while we're talking about it, have a little bit of extra felt pulling off the side. One common thing that will help your bass drum mallets to last a little bit longer is instead of pulling this excess off, use scissors and just give your mallet a little bit of a haircut. I would do the same thing for timpani mallets if they had any excess felt falling off the sides. I also like to use the bags that the mallets come in to place on the tray table itself. Because this is felt, just the act of moving it back and forth onto the towel I have here, that act itself over time is just going to pull the felt a little bit more. So if you have it on top of a plastic bag, that'll help them to last a little bit longer. So the next thing we're talking about is playing zone. So on any drum, the shortest sound is going to be produced from the direct center of the head. This is most obvious on timpani. If you hit the direct center of a timpani head, it's a very thuddy sound, right? And we don't necessarily want that most often. So whereas the center of the head is going to give you a lot of punch, the edge of the drum is going to give you a lot of resonance, we want a little bit of both, right? So wherever direct center is, I like to play just a little bit off of that. So I'm going to be playing just a little bit below center on this drum. When we talk about playing technique, you're going to likely need to use a little bit more arm than you would on snare drum or mallets. It's a large drum head that you need to get vibrating. So letting your motion be a little bit larger with your arm is a-okay. If you end up doing just wrist like this, all of your music is going to sound very punchy and certainly more articulate, which you might want sometimes, but more often than not, you're going to want a deeper sound, right? We're trying to blend in with the other low voices of the ensemble. So don't be afraid to let your arm move a little bit before as a prep and after you play as well. Letting it move before and after. I like to use the phrase start up, end up. So the next thing to talk about is muffling. In this excerpt, I'm going to use two different types of muffling. One is going to be on the batter head itself with my other hand. I'm just going to use it to mute that way. I'm also going to use it on the other resonant head if I really need to make sure that I am getting rid of all sound. Whenever I do that, the player is likely going to hear a little bit more ringing of the drum, but that's going to be a little bit inevitable. From farther away, you're not going to hear that. So you just kind of have to take it on faith that that's going to help get rid of a little bit more of the sound. Next thing we talk about is rolling. So this has two different types of rolls in it. The first is a forte piano roll. The next one is a decrescendo roll. So the forte piano roll I would treat just like I would on timpani. Whereas I'm going to play one large note at the beginning, and then I'm going to start to roll underneath of that first one in that echo of that first note. And then I start to roll underneath that, and then from there, I can grow to wherever I need it to go. The next one at the end of the piece is a decrescendo roll with an accent. So you need to make sure, one, you have a prep with both mallets, right? It'll help that first impact of the roll to have a little bit of a broader sound. But you prep with both, and then as you roll, you can let the natural decay of the drum do a little bit of the work for you. Don't feel like you need to control it by playing, sextuplets like the whole way down to piano. You can really slow up your roll speed and let the drum do some of the work for you. The next thing to make sure you pay attention to is the articulations that are written in the piece. So it has written that anything with marcato or staccato should be dampened, and then anything with a tenuto marking you should let ring. So again, I'm going to change what I'm doing for the muting. Sometimes I'm going to be on just the batter head, sometimes I'm going to be muting both heads. Because I'm doing that, I'm going to have a little bit more mallet changes, so you just have to, if you're going to do that, you have to really make sure that you practice those moves so that you don't get in your own way and maybe drop a mallet or something. So it is marked at 70 beats per minute, so I'm going to play this along with a metronome, and here's the full excerpt. So thank you very much, and good luck at your audition.